What's up, guys? BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Mythic heroes, and today, following up with our top 5 carry heroes to build on your account, we want to talk about the top 5 support heroes to help your main hero. Now, we're not going to include tanks in this one. You have Athena, you have Guy. Pretty much all the tanks are at least pretty solid at what they do, but the supports are really where we want to talk about which ones to go for. Now, again, we are not going to include UR heroes on this list, otherwise Nua would probably be right at the top, but for the average player, building UR heroes really isn't something you should try to do. You'll just casually get them as you play through the game, special events, the shops, and everything. This is going to be for those easier to get heroes, and we're going to rank them from number 5 all the way up to number 1. Now, the first one is probably the most important for boss damage, so let's jump right into it. Not quite a healer, but very important as a support hero. So first up on the list, number 5 is Dio. Yes, I give everybody nicknames because I can't pronounce a single one of the names in the game besides the easy ones. But Dio is an amazing support. Now, we're going to have to go into more than just what you see on his portrait card here, but we can go over what his skills are going to do. But what really makes him strong is his weapon. So, number 1, his drunken ability is going to reduce the attack speed of enemies. So, Dio is amazing against boss fights because there's only one enemy. All of these things that he does is going to happen to that one boss. So he's going to be able to lower the attack speed of the enemy. With his Mist of Vine, he's also going to be able to reduce the enemy's attack and accuracy. On top of that, when you jump to Chronic Poison, you're going to reduce the healing received by 50% on that target. There's a lot of things that happen. Now, he does do some damage. That's not what he's really for. And then Alcoholic here. If an enemy is afflicted with wine, poison, or drunken, increase the attack of the backline allies by 4%. So that's going to be pretty good for all your damage dealers so long as you have Dio in your lineup and you have them on the back line. They're going to be increasing that. It's also going to increase their dodge backline up to 6 and their attack up to 6 when it's to level 4. Now, before we go into the trial, I want to jump on over to the actual hero itself. Wait, where am I going? Where am I going? Wrong place. Dio, where are you? There's Dio right there. So, what really makes this man strong is going to be the Ivy Thyris Staff, the weapon skill. So, basically, Drunken, remember, is his ultimate ability. I have to remember to differentiate between active ability and ultimate ability because active ability in this game is more like a passive skill, whereas ultimate is the big ability. I know we're used to saying active in a lot of other games, but the ultimate ability is Drunken. Drunken's gonna decrease the enemy's defense by 40%, going up to 60%. That is huge. Getting it to 300 is really good. And then, of course, if you get up to 400, if an enemy is afflicted with Drunken and then they die before the duration of the ability ends, it's just gonna restart Drunken on the next nearest enemy. Now, for bosses, I would say you definitely want to get it up to 600. Or sorry, 300 to get the 60% right there. But overall, Dio is just like an amazing support. Typically he's used mainly just in boss fights. You're probably used to seeing the purple cloud when you're fighting combat and all that. It's rough when you are using your one carry hero, you come across a wave that Dio is against you, and you just see this constantly, just getting constantly splashed with wine and everything is really annoying. But he is a very strong hero to have as your support, which is why he comes in at number 5. But the rest of the heroes on the list are mainly going to be more of the traditional supporters that are healers. So remember, Dio's important. You want him on boss fights. You want his weapon skill to be upgraded to get that 60% defense down. But let's move on to the first of the healers at number 4. Next up on the list is Hela. So Hela is a really interesting hero to have on your team. Her main ability, her ultimate Dark Synergy, is really sweet because what it does is it drops a totem down on the ground. I know a lot of people out here have played World of Warcraft before. It's just like the Shaman Totem that equalizes all health. What it's going to do is every 2 seconds during this 6-second time, she's going to average all of her allies' current health percentage and then recover everybody for 2%. basically 3 times within that 6-second span. So that's going to happen and upgrade to 3.5% of their health eventually. So this is pretty good. And it, of course, increases up to 8 seconds, which means you get that 4th tick on it as well. That's really good because this is a percentage-based recovery. So even if you have some weaker heroes, it's going to average everybody's health out, which is going to be a bigger heal potentially for your main carry. If they're low on HP, that's a big heal potentially. Plus, that ticking is really good. She also has an active ability that drains health from the enemy with the lowest current defense, causing 100% magical damage for 3 seconds and recovering 50% of that amount to 2 allies with the lowest health. Now, you can increase that damage here, but what also works out is with her weapon upgrade, I believe this makes it go to a 3rd target as well, so that gives some more support, some more healing to your team. The Foul Essence active is at the beginning of battle. She creates a circle around herself for the first 15 seconds. Enemies within this circle reduce their attack speed by 30%, and allies that are within it reduce their damage taken by 30%. So sometimes it's actually okay to put her more in the front row if you have some melee running up from the back row that are going to stand in that circle. That can help your survivability a little bit, so long as hell is not really being targeted too much. It also reduces the attack speed by more at higher levels and lowers the damage taken up to 35% at level 4. Lastly, we have Bloodstained here, increases Hela and her allies' lifesteal by 15%. That's really good, especially if you're using someone like Lucifer or another hero that already has a lifesteal ability. It's just going to boost their abilities even more. And yeah, you can see here, this is that first 15-second kind of bubble. Even when she's in the back row, she can hit the front row, so long as they're not progressing onto the enemy side of the battlefield. If they're moving towards the enemy side, then they're not going to be touched. She is definitely a great candidate to be put in the center back row just because of how that bubble works there. And then you can see this is the totem right here, the pulsing outward. It's a very strong ability, very nice healing. Awesome, awesome hero. Coming in at number 3 is probably my favorite hero personally on this list. I absolutely love this hero. I usually just call her Edun, either one. She has some really cool abilities, especially synergizing with her energy, giving allies energy. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. We'll start off with her ultimate, Tree of Life. So when she summons the Tree of Life, golden apples will drop from the tree, restoring 25 energy and recovering health equal to 35% of Edun's attack every second to all ally heroes. Well, that's pretty good because that's going to be everybody on your side. It increases up to 35% energy and 45% of her attack. Usually the way I build her is very attack oriented and energy oriented. So I want like a very kind of high attack, but also good energy generation with this hero. It's one of the few on this list that can give energy to their allies for more ultimate abilities, which I really, really like. Speaking of those golden apples, at the beginning of battle, she'll summon 3 of them that'll drop, and when an ally hero has less than 50% health, they consume this apple and recover 20% of their max HP. It can only be used once every 6 seconds. That can be lowered down. Actually, no, it's always 6 seconds, right? Yeah, what it increases is up to 30% of the hero's max health. When it gets to level 3, though, when all of those 3 apples are gone off the battlefield, she can spend 500 of her energy to summon 3 more apples and continuously have those apples going off on the battlefield. The Divine Blessing is pretty cool. When an ally backline hero takes damage equaling to more than 10% of their max health, so something that really goes to chunk their health, Edun will spend 80 of her own energy to block this damage. That will lower down to 65 eventually, but she can only do that once every 5 seconds. So if you can get her to be strong enough on the battlefield, she can take a lot of hits for your team. At level 3, she's actually just going to recover 10 energy every single second in combat beyond her normal energy generation. And then at level 4, it's going to be once every 4 seconds she can do this. So alternatively, you can build her very, very tanky with a lot of energy regeneration. And yeah, she can just block damage instead of worrying about how much she's healing. She's just going to absorb that damage instead. The last one on this list is Spirit Away. This one's really nice too because not only is she giving energy to her allies, she's also stealing energy from the enemies. So that can go up to 120 energy. Spirited Away is a very cool ability here. So you'll see here, just look at her energy generation is amazing, and then she can feed healing and energy to her own team. It's just very, very nice. You see those golden apples and everything. It just works out really well. I love her. She's a really, really good budget hero, and I think she's very good for boss damage too because of that energy feed and energy draining. So yeah. So coming at number 2 is one of the newer heroes in the game, Cassandra. As far as pure healers, she's one of my favorite besides like the top one that you'll see here in a second, but she is absolutely amazing. She is of course in the Guardian faction too. Let's go over her ultimate ability. Pious, I believe it's Pious Please. So Cassandra prays to recover all allies to their maximum health. Doesn't matter how much health they have, they are going to max health. In the following 5 seconds after that health is gained, it does drop down to 50%, but 50% of the amount that is recovered will slowly drain away. Health cannot be gained excess to over 400% of her attack. So again, she's going to have a decent attack value. Otherwise, she's not going to quote unquote fully heal your allies. But it still is going to be a significant one. The drain time at level 4 is increased to 8 seconds. So it's not as much of a big drain. If you have someone that's basically dead and she full heals, well, their health is going to start dropping very quickly. So you're going to need her other abilities to pair up with this ultimate to keep your allies alive. So Holy Illumination releases holy energy at the target nearest her. You really want to make sure it's an ally usually. This energy then bounces 3 times to heroes nearby. Whether they're enemies or allies, it doesn't matter. When it's an ally, they recover 8% of their max health. If they're an enemy, it deals 100% damage. Yeah, I mean, it does up to, of course, 10% of max health to allies and bounces 4 times. So it's kind of like a chain heal. I would try to position her most of the time on the battlefield where it's almost always going to bounce to allies. The damage just isn't significant enough. You really want it for the heal, so try to position her in a very good spot. Her Breathless Prayer is very nice too. She prays for the ally with the lowest health for the next 3 attacks. This hero will recover 5% of their max health every time they're hit. If they're not hit, then well, yeah, they're not going to get a heal. But yeah, it increases up to 4 times and it increases up to 10% of their max health. Now, the last skill she has here is probably one of my favorites here. Guardian Spirit. After she suffers lethal damage and dies, she'll turn into like a guardian angel spirit for 12 seconds. Very, very good. So basically what's going to happen here is she's going to be able to heal allies even after she's dead. Again, for those of you who have played World of Warcraft, very much like the redemption ability priests have. It will also reduce damage taken by 20% to nearby allies that are affected by this. The other thing to remember is her weapon skill will also make it so that allies, I believe, if they're above 50% HP, will have a bonus 20% attack. So that's going to be a nice little bonus too. Overall, though, her raw healing output is amazing. Honestly, if you're going to run like a 2 healer setup, I feel like she's one of the 2 you definitely want to try to have in the lineup. Edun and Cassandra, they're like a nice combo overall. I feel like they kind of suit each other well. Cassandra's more oriented to healing. Edun has healing but also has those energy synergies. But yeah, very solid hero overall. We got to move on to the number 1 though, and I think everybody kind of agrees, mainly because as it gets towards the end game, this number 1 becomes even stronger and stronger. So you might have guessed it, she's been over there on the side the entire time this video. Naga is probably the strongest healer in the game right now. Pretty much the most dominant, I feel like, towards the end game. Less towards the very early game, but with investment in her, she gets very, very strong. Her Blessing of Rain ability, her ultimate, prays for rain for 7 seconds. During this time, recover health to all allies equal to 3% of their max health every second. The duration does go up to 9 seconds. Additionally, she'll get 100 defense during the duration of her basically channeling this, and at level 4 increase it up to 4. Now I'm pretty sure the weapon also allows her ultimate ability to remove debuffs and things like that from your allies as this is getting chain cast. Very, very strong. On top of that, her Aqua Barrier works as a twofold bubble to absorb damage, and then number 2 to heal. So what happens with the bubble is she's gonna have it absorb 100%, 180% of her attack rating to an ally hero with the lowest health that lasts for 5 seconds. When the time expires or that shield is broken by damage, that ally hero and all nearby allies will recover health equal to 100% of Naga's attack. So not only is it going to prevent damage, it's also then going to heal on top of that. So that's a really cool synergy here. Her Surging Wave is a nice kind of CC ability. She summons a jet of water to launch an enemy target in the air, dealing damage and stunning them for up to 2.5 seconds. The damage is pretty irrelevant. She's kind of just using this for her, you know, duration of the stun. And lastly, Aqua Favor. So this one is really huge. First off, it increases her healing by 15%, then 18%. That's fine. But at level 3, this is what makes her very strong. When she overheals, so like they're already at max health, whenever she overheals, it's going to convert excess health into a shield for the target. That's really good because especially at level 4, increases healing ability by 25% to allies with health less than 20%. So it's really going to help keep them alive. She's just such a strong hero. You can see the bubble right here going out to multiple different allies. You see the rain here. Oh, actually, I'm mistaken. Sorry, the rain isn't really a channel. She can continue attacking during the rain, which means she's even better than I thought she was. Because I haven't used her that much, but I hear all the rave about this hero right here. And you can see how big that shield bar is getting. Look at the health bar versus how much they literally have, like 6 health bars at this point. So much overhealing is coming to these allies that they have so much health. I honestly don't know if this shield is capped at a certain multiplier of someone's health, because this kind of looks like something that could be an issue down the road depending on what type of heroes come out. In other games I've played, shields have been a big issue when you add other items to the game that prevent people from taking certain percentage amount of attacks. This could be interesting because this shield just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why she is pretty much the best support healer in the game. So what do you guys think about the list? Hopefully you guys learned something from this. Again, she's a little bit harder, I feel like, to build than maybe like Edun, but probably easier than Cassandra right now. I would definitely consider building her because she's very strong, and as you can see, that shield is just ridiculous. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, share this video with your guild mates, with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.